And welcome back, everybody. I hope you are all doing fantastic this time around. Welcome back to Paradox and a Trap podcast, or PaaT. You know, the Wolfpack. We love you. This time around, we have episode 19, and we'll be talking about generations. And that might entail a lot of things, but you'll see what we get into it later on. But just the general idea of generations, the 70s, 80s, 90s. You know, what would it be like going back in that time? But first, I am Paradox.
Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
Okay, cool. I'm a trap.
Welcome. How are you, Chandler?
I'm great now that I played that.
Oh, yeah? So, for a second, I thought you were playing the George Lopez theme.
Oh, I'm playing Ferris Bueller.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know. Everything going okay with you? Anything exciting this week?
Absolutely nothing at all.
Absolutely nothing.
Nope.
I've heard you've been grinding some video games, though, yeah? How's that been going?
Terrible.
Damn. Yeah.
Every game's toxic. Every game sucks.
I mean, it do be like that sometimes.
So Smite. I do have fun with Smite.
Yeah, I'm still glad. Just keep holding out for me. One day, I'll hop on.
Yeah, maybe one day you'll get a PC.
And one day I'll get a PC. I'll hop on there. We'll do some joust, and then I'll take you into Conquest, and then you can truly experience the toxic.
Oh, you'll take me into Conquest.
Yeah, I'll carry you.
All right.
That's the biggest thing that you have to realize.
In forever, and not on PC, but this guy thinks he's gonna carry me.
Yeah, of course I will, bro. I know the builds. Same thing like Destiny. I'll carry you.
He Googles the builds. He Googles the builds.
Yeah, indeed I do.
Anyone can do that.
I understood. The builds. Is
Whoa.
that right?
Nice.
You had
Serious?
a little Google in there.
Oh, nice.
Just very interested in being in today's topic.
Nice. But no, man, I can carry. Just give me like 2 weeks. Damn, you will go off. But no, give me like 2 weeks on mouse and keyboard, and I'm gonna be a pro. Easy.
Right. Okay.
Trust me. No. Thank you. Yeah, nothing going on with me. Like I told you a little bit before, I've joined the new CrossFit gym, so that's exciting.
You never told me that.
I did.
No, you didn't. You just told me you tore your hand.
Okay. Well, I tore my hand at my new CrossFit gym.
Do you have to wear a mask for working out?
Yeah.
How dumb do you feel?
Like, I have to wear it walking in, warming up and stuff like that, but during like the actual workout portion, you don't have to wear a mask because it's really hard to breathe and stuff.
What's the point of wearing it in the first place?
Well, yeah, you're not wrong, but everyone's like 6 feet apart. You know, it's pretty well done. You gotta clean up everything. But yeah, it is sometimes I'm just like, wow, this is miserable.
Fuck Corona, we gotta get rips.
True.
The gyms need to start opening the fuck back up though, for real.
I mean, I feel like a lot of smaller places are opening up right now, but yeah, no, like, you know, Planet Fitness.
The only problem is they're gonna like be super busy. Because people are gonna like, but they know the die down. People are like, "Oh, I'm gonna get super fit now. Yeah, the quarantine's over. I'm gonna get super fit," and then they'll go for like a week.
Gonna flood in, man.
Let's see out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it'll just be like New Year's, just like a mid New Year's,
Right.
So, yeah, that's the only thing been going on with me. My lab group also submitted another paper yesterday, so that's exciting. Hopefully, that will be received well, but fingers crossed.
No one knows what that means.
Yeah, it's okay. And then else going on? Nope. Besides, I've been grinding Destiny, as I always am. I'm trying to get everything out, max rolls, all that shit. So that's pretty fun, I guess. But yeah, that's about everything for me.
Enough about us.
I know.
We need to get to the topic.
Well, let's get into the question. The question below the treehouse thing. We gotta hear from the people first. So, question we have this time around from below the treehouse, interjingle there. Questions from the bottom of the treehouse. We have the craziest shit you've ever been in that you're willing to discuss. Chandler, would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, the answer to this question is nothing, because I don't do anything.
Wow.
I don't get involved in situations.
Damn.
I've never done anything crazy. Never gotten like caught in anything crazy.
I mean,
not the crazy I'm thinking of. Like
going on a trip to Canada is pretty wild.
Yeah, it's not crazy though.
Oh,
Just traveling. I don't know. It's a little pretty tame life.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
For me, okay. So this was a night freshman year in the dorms at UW Mass.
We prayed and then went to bed. It's pretty crazy.
Yes. So all my friends and I were planning on going out to a party and stuff like that, have a great time. And this for me was a really big step because I was never going to parties or drinking anything like that because, I came to get education. I was never really big on it. But I was like, hey, I might as well try it out, I'll be around with some friends, I'll be safe, everything will be okay. And so right as we're going out, as a lot of people do, they pregame before the parties. I still don't get it, but they do. And one of my good friends, he will be remained unnamed, but one of my good friends had a little too much to drink already in the beginning, but he said he had to go to the bathroom. And this is hilarious because right before this happened, him and I and his roommate were just playing Smash Bros. And he was rocking us, but he was pretty intoxicated. And so, oh yeah, but he was slapping our cheeks and beat us both and said, "Oh, I gotta go piss, and then we'll be good to go." And so he goes to the bathroom right by his dorm room, and we hear like this loud bang, like it sounded like wood hit wood, like it was loud. And we were like, "Oh shit, what happened? Did he fall in the bathroom or something like that?" So we go to see that my good friend has hit his head on the doorknob going into the bathroom. And to help out our audio listeners and everyone just listening, this gash that he got was on his forehead, right above, like right next to his right above his right eye, and above his right eye, and then really close to his eyebrow. So basically, kind of like Harry Potter a little bit, but it was like a straight line gash because he hit it on like the sharp end of the doorknob. It was like the handle ones, like the long, like rectangle ones.
Right.
And so he nailed that shit. So, but he went into the bathroom and peed and everything. He's like, "Hey, I'm fine. And he's just covering his head. And there's a shit ton of blood in your head. You got a lot of capillaries up there. And so he comes out of the bathroom like, "Yo, let me see your head." And it's gushing blood basically. And I'm like, holy shit. This is wild. This is a lot of blood. And this is only like 9:30, by the way. So to keep it kind of short, because I know we gotta get into the topic, but so I stay in the dorms with him to take care of him. I get Neosporin, I get Band-Aids. That's all we really got because we can't call 911 or anything like that because then he'll get a DUI and everyone will get fucked, But it wasn't that bad to where he's gonna bleed out. It was pretty good.
Wait, why did he get a DUI?
Because he's drinking underage. Oh yeah, not driving under the influence. My bad. Sorry, drinking underage. He'll get underage drinking, stuff like that. My bad. But so I stay with him, and the worst thing is he has his bed propped up, so he has to climb a ladder every single time we get up there. I'm just ready for him to just fall off it, right? But no, he's able to get up there quite a bit. I chill with him, hang out, talk a little bit. He's pretty intoxicated, so it's not really a conversation. It was a really good time though talking to him. And every time he had to go to the bathroom, I'd just be like, "All right, come on down." So I come on down, clean his head off. He goes to the bathroom. He's super lightheaded. You gotta stay hydrated. He's eating little snacks here and there. Not bad. But then the night escalates, if you could believe this. So then people are coming back from the party. It's like 11:30, 12. And I've been taking care of this man for 3 hours. I was not, I was ready to go to bed. Like, I'm tired. And so my roommate comes back. And my roommate and I, him and I both talked a lot. That, we're not really big drinkers. Not really here for the drinking stuff. But he hit this shit hard. He was extremely intoxicated to the point where he was talking Spanish. So, pretty impressive. And I'll tell you what, it was funny. So he's talking Spanish. I'm like, oh shit, I have to take care of him now. And so I say, hey, let's go on back to our rooms, get some sleep. But he just wants to tell everyone, I'm so sorry for the way I'm acting. Like, he's very apologetic. It's very sweet of him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And he's like, thank you guys for taking care of me and stuff. And now John is like energetic because everyone's back. So he's like, let's keep not keep partying, but let's keep drinking, have a good time and talking. But I'm like, yo, you gotta stay up there, man. Because we're almost at Neosporin. It's not a good time, and so yeah. But at the end of the night, at around like 3 a.m., my roommate finally goes to bed, calls it a night. But yes, that was a pretty crazy experience. Because words can't even imagine how much blood I saw and had to clean up. And the worst thing too is, and my and probably a lot of dorms, you have a house fellow monitoring the halls at a certain time. So every time he had to go to the bathroom or clean up his wound or his head, I always had to make sure, like, to be around the rotation time. So, yes.
So no stitches or anything?
No stitches or anything.
Wow. Okay.
Even though he probably...
There's a scar there now?
Oh, yeah. There's a very big scar. It's about 2 inches long. It's pretty big. But he used, like, this scar cream or something like that. It was, like, super expensive. But it was, like, some cream you can put on a wound. It's basically, like, Neosporin on steroids, and it's supposed to heal up extremely quickly, and that's what he did. And here we are now. We still joke about it here and there, but it was a good time.
Hey, you had almost died.
Yeah, well, that was
You sound like such a frat, bro.
I know.
I love it. You sound like an old man when you tell stories. You know that?
Do I really?
Yeah.
I'll take that as a compliment.
It wasn't.
Okay. But yeah, that was the crazy experience. Another like side note is I've driven through a tornado once. That was pretty wild.
Just for fun, or
no? We were on a road trip and stuff. Going to Texas.
Decided, well, fuck it. We gotta get this on. We all die someday.
And tornadoes move pretty fucking fast, and so yeah, it was wild. But yeah, that's my stories. But I think it's time to get into the topic. Yeah, wouldn't you say?
Yes, topic. I'm the leader of this topic. Let's go.
I know you came up with this topic. You want to explain it a little bit?
Yeah. So I was listening to like synthwave music, and I was like, man, synthwave wasn't really like in the 80s too much. It was more like a thing that's coming out like 2018, 2019, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still, synth was heavy in the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, man, I really wish like I was in the 80s, and I really want to get like a 80s horror slasher film. Like, I just really want to do that. And that led me down a rabbit hole of the 80s. So I was like, what? A cool topic is just talking about like the generations, different generations. Which generation do you think you would have been in?
Right.
Which one you wish you would have been in?
Right.
And all that.
Yeah. When you said that, the first idea that came to my mind was there's this video. I don't know who did it. Maybe it was BuzzFeed. There's this video on YouTube that just shows all the different generations and like people dressed up as them. So you have like the Roaring 20s, the Great Depression.
We don't talk. No one wants to go back to like the. Well, I don't know. Some people probably do want to do the 20s.
Everyone.
Type shit.
Well, everyone was super hyped because everyone was saying, "Oh, 2020, right here comes the Roaring 20s again." But the Roaring 20s, the Great Depression, and then I think like the 40s, and the 40s was World War II, and so I think they called that like the Silent 40s or something like that. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. I would have definitely been in World War II. That would have been cool.
Yeah, and then 50s, 60s. I'm pretty sure isn't that Boomer stuff? Yeah, or no?
Boomer is like a baby boomer, so the kids that were born from World War II.
Yeah, so 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
And then the 60s and 70s, I forget what they called it. I think they called it just like the recruit era or something like that, because
that was like the counterculture.
Yeah, that was you had the hippie and pride stuff, and then you also had the whole thing going on in Vietnam.
And then the 80s is like Ronald. This is the Reagan era, pretty much.
Reagan,
Cold War.
Cold
War.
I
still felt like everyone was happy in the 80s.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
like.
it was a good
A lot of
time.
people were on edge and stuff, but I feel like '80s were just kind of they were vibing, man.
You get in '90s, I think everyone's still the fashion is something else. Well, no,
'90s, you have
early 2000s fashion is fucking awful.
yeah, it's just wild.
Oh,
But
it's
'90s, you have the
disgusting.
millennials, right? '90s are millennials.
'90s millennials and grunge,
The yeah, and
and
then
then
you
after
had
that, the world changes at 2001 with 9/11. Because
yeah,
there's a
9/11
pre
changed
9/11 world
everything.
and there's a post 9/11 world, and
Yeah.
that's where a lot of people see
It
change.
it is wild because I feel like the people like just older than I, so like, Taylor, my sister, like her age and stuff like that. And when they talk to other people, not that they always say this, but I feel like it's always a topic kind of drawn in a little bit. Be like, where were you when 9/11 happened, or how were you? Because if you remember that, right, then it is, it's a
I was
defining moment.
one, so I do not remember
Yeah, I
really.
was too.
The older people I talk to, and it's like the day 9/11 happened, everything changed.
Right.
Nothing
Yeah.
was ever the same.
Right.
It wasn't the world wasn't a peaceful place anymore. It wasn't like a place you could just go
Oh
outside.
yeah, I think it
Let your
was a
kids
very
go.
big eye-opening experience because everyone, not saying everyone had the idea, but a lot of people, at least from what I heard, is
There was
they saw
security.
it was security, it was
Safe.
protected, and the Cold War just ended, right? Berlin and Germany were just freed, right? Or not freed, sorry. They reunited and stuff. So it was kind of like a happy moment. And so 2000, but of course you had what does everyone always flip about the Y2K, right?
Y2K, yeah.
Yeah, Y2K,
2000. When the
yeah.
clocks, I think it was they thought the computers, the time wasn't going to
Yeah,
change
the
on it or
computer
something like
shit
that. So it
just
wouldn't
like
update.
absolutely fucked and
Yeah,
everything just crashed.
that's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But then you had Y2K. Well, I'm not saying that was a very big moment. I guess it was maybe.
It was, yeah. It was like
Yeah,
you think like a 2012. Everyone thought the world was going to end too.
yeah,
That was a
that's
big
true.
thing. But I
That
feel
was
like Y2K was more of a. I feel like that was more of a threat. 2012 was just like stupid people.
yeah. I feel like it was this kind of it was kind of over exaggerated. But Y2K, I feel like that's like a reasonable thing to be scared about.
I was disappointed in 2012 when the
Yeah.
world didn't end. I was like, really? Okay, gotta keep going, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Fuck.
But yeah, like you said, I feel like 9/11 is there. It's a very very big turning point in
Yeah.
how the world was. So.
Throughout
But
this episode, we're going to be jumping from generation to generation. We're not going to talk
yeah,
to a set during a set one. We're just going to be jumping and kind of getting
yeah,
scatterbrained about everything we can.
yeah.
There is something I do recommend people watching, and I don't know if you have or not, but Black Mirror has an episode called San Junipero. It's fucking awesome.
Really?
I
haven't watched a lot of Black Mirror, honestly.
It's set in the 80s, basically.
Mhm.
It's a really good episode. It's one of my favorite episodes of like television ever. I love it so much. I recommend people watch that if they haven't seen it. They'd love it. It's such a cool idea. So I think pretty much of how we've been talking, I think it's kind of obvious. What generation do you think you'd want to be born in?
Like you said, to be pretty honest, I would want to be born in the 80s, personally.
I too would like to be born in the 80s. So why would you? What's your?
Well, of course, I gotta be upfront and be like, the music was popping.
Yep.
All my favorite music, all the people that I grew up listening to because my mom and stuff, that was then, right? And just think about being able to go to like, I know Michael Jackson's kind of fucked up, right? But going to a concert of his, or going to a Queen concert, or something like that, right? That would be absolutely insane. But also, like you said, like I don't. Of course, there's the big AIDS, that stuff going on.
Yeah.
And then you had Live Aid, and of course, the world obviously has never been thriving. The whole world has never been thriving at once, right? But I feel like personally in America, I don't feel like there's a lot of bad shit going on. Maybe you can correct me. Besides the Cold War and stuff like that, with I forget when the Cuban Missile Crisis happened exactly.
It was late 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can look. Craig will look into it. Why do you choose the 80s?
The culture, everything about it, arcades, the music, like going to the mall with friends. I just watched Stranger Things. That's why, I guess. I can't really talk about it. I wasn't in the 80s, obviously, but just looking back and everything surrounding the 80s is like, fuck, dude, I want to be there. Why wasn't I born in the fucking 80s? The way they dress, everything, dude.
Craig says the Cuban Missile Crisis happened in 1962, so we're good.
Oh, we were way off on that one, weren't we?
Yeah, that was during JFK and stuff. R.I.P. JFK. But especially during the 80s, there's a lot of big, there's a lot of big movements in like civil rights and stuff like that. And I feel like there's a lot of, even though of course there's more, I would say there's more freedom and expressing yourself nowadays. Back then, I feel like it was a very big movement going forward, and had a lot of momentum. So I feel like it would have been cool to see, that whole change, kind of like a wave happening.
Fuck that! I'm there for the arcades, bro.
Well, yeah.
There was lots of technological advances, but it wasn't anything like today. But back then, it was like you had the phones, like the big block phones. I think those were coming out later 80s. I'd like to say, and then obviously arcades, video games, Atari. Nintendo was big in the 80s, so the music is fucking awesome. So what about if you had to pick a second generation, what would you go to besides the 80s?
No cap, probably the Roaring 20s.
Okay.
Because obviously, I have to be honest with myself, like the main influence for that would probably be Great Gatsby. Just seeing like all that stuff going on, it'd just be a time to be alive. Of course, I would not look forward to what was going to happen afterwards with the Great Depression, World War II. But, I feel like that just would have been the time, like during that time, like no one had a care in the world. They were just enjoying life. So I would pick that one. Do you have a backup?
Oh, for the 70s.
For sure. Yeah.
That's close with the 80s. Yeah, the fucking music, the culture of the 70s, dude. It's like being in Dazed and Confused, basically.
Yeah.
You've ever seen that movie? Fuck yes, dude. Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Black Sabbath, all that shit.
All your people.
Yeah. It'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Moving forward a little bit, do you feel like being born when you were like we're Gen Z, correct? So do you feel like what?
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. But do you feel like not that you were born in the wrong generation, would say, but do you feel like you kind of belong in this generation just because you feel related to it, or?
I hate the generation we're in now, dude. This shit sucks. Like 2010s fucking sucked. Like there was some good shit, nostalgia shit I can look back on, but it was still dumb. But now is like absolutely awful. Who the fuck wants to live in this generation? The fucking everything going on, dude. Oh my god, it's awful. Like I want to go back to the 80s, and I think that's why we see a lot of like nostalgic things coming back, and a lot of specifically, I see a lot of stuff from the 80s coming back because it's like people want to go back to that. They don't want to be. I know I don't want to be related like with all these fucking people. Everyone's so sensitive now. That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like a lot of people.
It's either there's no in between. It's like people are really sensitive or people are really toxic.
Right. Like I feel like it's very hard sometimes to have like a reasonable conversation with people.
You can't.
Like, but okay. Let me clarify that a little bit because I feel like you can have reasonable conversations with people, but only on the surface level. You see what I mean? Once you get into like deeper and bigger topics, I feel like people kind of let their emotions and other things kind of flare out too much to where the topic doesn't even become like the conversation doesn't become a conversation. It just becomes an argument.
I know what you're saying. I don't even think there's a point to having a conversation because like nobody's going to change their mind. If we're talking about like like a debate type thing or having like a two separate parties having a conversation, there's no point because no one's going to change their mind. So it's like
I do agree with you. There's a lot of people that are stubborn and feel like their opinion and their matters are strong. They're in the wrong or they're in the right always. And I feel like it's not I would say it's somewhat of a bad thing. I feel like you should be confident in what you believe in and should be passionate about it because if you're not, first of all, if you don't even know what you believe in, then what's the point, right? Like, if you don't know what you stand for or where you stand on certain topics, then I don't feel like you're really exercising a lot of rights there. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree.
By the way, it's called Generations Throughout History. It was by BuzzFeed. It's 10 minutes long, and it's on YouTube. So I would recommend to go watch that if you want to see some.
Don't watch BuzzFeed shit.
It's crazy. They're crazy visuals, though. I promise. But by the way, the Silent Generation was the generation after World War II or World War One. So, yeah, I definitely agree that a lot of people, like during, from what my parents said and growing up and stuff like that. Of course, there are deeply rooted things when it came to racism and stuff like that. But they felt like, they were able to have conversations with people and that they were, able to learn and grow a little bit. And, obviously they're, of course, deeply rooted in their beliefs. And so nowadays you can kind of say that they're kind of the problem, right? That they're not willing to be flexible like they were before, which is kind of an interesting transition. Like, question for you, why do you feel like people are very malleable and flexible at some points, but other points are very deeply rooted and, stubborn, so sort of say? Anything you can think of?
There's two things. I mean, there's how you're raised. That's one, and then another part is just propaganda type shit around you. Media.
Yeah, media does have extreme power.
Which brings me to, I think social media has ruined this generation and ruined everybody.
Yeah,
I could go on for hours.
As we've always been preaching, right?
Yeah, I can go on hours talking about how social media has destroyed. It will soon destroy the world. I know it sounds bad, but
Episode 3, I think.
Yeah. Social media is terrible. Get off of it, please. But we have an Instagram, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Okay, well, I guess I'm a hypocrite. But
yeah.
He runs it.
Yes. I run it. You stay away from it. Which is understandable. I have your ideas sometimes, but
yeah. That brings me to the next question. What would it be like living in a time with no internet? I think the world would be a way better place. The internet is like the worst invention of all time.
I feel like the world would obviously be disconnected at a lot of points. But I also feel like people overall would just be
more happy.
Because don't get me wrong, of course, like the crisis going on in Yemen right now. Like, if we didn't have the internet, we would not know about that.
Who gives a shit about Yemen?
Okay, fair enough. But again, we wouldn't be hearing about those terrible things that are going on. And of course, obviously, there's to some degree where we should know those things, but there's also to some degree where if you didn't know those things and you weren't, like I said, I deleted Twitter, right? And that took a lot of willpower. But
is it that hard?
Yes. There's been multiple times where I have not gone back to it, but I've had the urges to go back to it.
Jeez, it's like a drug,
isn't it? It is. And right now, the app where I used to have it is Discord. So sometimes I just open up Discord like by habit because I think it's Twitter. No cap.
Changes your brain, people. What the fuck are you doing?
But it was like I said, on the Independence podcast, the Independence Day or 4th of July podcast, sorry. Like all the toxic and terrible stuff that is just going on is so saturated.
Twitter. All Twitter.
It's on Twitter, and it's it's just right there in front of you. Maybe there's like one happy thing out of like the 50 terrible things that are going on. And again, like I said, don't get me wrong. I feel like a lot of people should take the effort to stay educated and understand what's going on. But there's some point where, you got to take a break for yourself because it's just not doing you any good, right? I feel like life is too short to worry about all the terrible things that are going on because then you won't be able to focus on yourself. Yeah. I feel like you should take some time for yourself to focus on yourself and move forward, and also take some time to reflect and see what's going on in the world. I think that's perfectly right. But we talked about before, there's keyboard warriors out there that feel like they need to respond to every terrible thing that are going on and that their opinion needs to be heard about that terrible thing. And yeah.
It's
we can get into that again, but
it's funny how it's crazy. Everybody has a social media. Like, it's crazy how much people care about seeing other people's shit. Like, I could give less of a fuck about another person, right? don't give a fuck what they post. I don't give a fuck about liking something. I don't give a fuck what they're doing. Never have, never will.
Right.
So I just don't get why people care about that so much, and they care about the likes, and it changes their brain. Like the likes give them dopamine. What the fuck? This is crazy. If you really sit down and think about it, it is an addiction. It is insane.
It is. And I like you were saying. Sorry to interrupt, but I have to own up to that because there's multiple times where I just scroll through Twitter and I look at, or not Twitter, I scroll through Instagram and look at pictures and stuff like that. Most of the time it's about like lifting and seeing lifts and stuff like that. But it's just really interesting because I do have those moments where I'm like, why am I looking at this person lifting? Why don't I just go do it? Or why am I looking at this thing about Avatar: The Last Airbender or something like that, right? Like, is it really propelling me forward? Is it really making me a better person? Is it really, adding anything, right? Besides that immediate gratification, like you said, with like when it comes to likes, right?
It blows my mind how much we care about other people like that, and how much we idolize celebrities now. Right. Holy shit, dude! Celebrities are just as dumb as you, so don't.
Yeah, they're just normal people, man.
Don't idolize false prophets, man. Like, do not idolize celebrities. They're not to be idolized.
Right.
And they don't know what they're talking about.
Like going back to our question and stuff like that.
None of us do.
Internet, I feel like without having internet, right, there's a lot of ways that publicity would be done differently, right? Of course, you have the newspaper and shit like that. But I feel like a lot of people would be able to come to terms and realize, oh, I need to put myself first and my family first. I feel like that was a really big thing.
I think family is dissolving as a whole. You look back at the 50s, and it's like the nuclear family is like the thing you want to be, and now like family is just dissolving. No one gives a fuck about their family anymore.
Yeah, and it's extremely sad sometimes when you see that.
I think technology has a thing of everyone's growing apart, and I don't need a family. I have a computer.
Right, and
I have a phone.
I can see that happening right now, right? Because of course, with my family, right, my dad when he gets home goes downstairs into the basement and he works, right? He goes to the computer and just works or watches TV while he works, stuff like that. My mom, when she gets home or when she's just home in general, she is up in her room watching an Instagram live or a Facebook live or on her iPad or on her phone with the TV on in the background for no apparent reason. She doesn't even know what she's watching, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'm bashing them, but I have to own up to my stuff. So, when I get home from working out or hanging out with someone, I make some food. I might read a book here and there, but damn well what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna boot up the Xbox and play some Destiny or watch or listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube video, right?
And that's what I do too, because it turns into a
habit.
That's what I like to do. It turns into a habit, but that's what makes me feel good. I'll go and play video games. That's what what was it back then?
Feel comfortable. Yeah.
What people do? I mean, would they read? What would they do? They'd go home. And then when TV got introduced, that was big.
Yeah.
They just go watch TV. But they usually do it as a family or radio. They get gathered by the radio. So what would people do back then?
Fireside
chats. People don't always. I mean, there's different things. People come home, they smoke a cigarette, they do drugs, whatever. They drink. But for me, it would be video games, most definitely. Right. Yeah, so how do we mold that? How do we shape into something healthy?
Right. And I think, of course, like you said, if you took that internet divide out, there comes to a point where you kind of have to interact with your family.
With people.
Right? Yeah.
With people in general.
Yeah, people in general. Then that's like we talked about during the internet episode, right? People are able to hide behind, I'm not saying hide, sorry, but people are able to be behind a screen, speak what they want, and have no regrets.
Yeah.
But when you're talking to someone face to face, you're not going to, damn well, you're not going to say the stuff that you said on the internet to someone in person. You're just not going to, unless you have, some massive balls, but you're not going to. You're going to filter. You're going to think about what you're going to say. But on the internet, you don't have to think. You just type,
Right.
So I do, but, going to family and stuff like that, right? I feel like a lot of people would, like with what you're doing and, pursuing the environmental stuff, I feel like a lot of people would become environmentally aware, understand what's going on. And, I feel like you could you can focus that energy other places, right? Focusing the energy on what are you eating this week? How's that affecting you? Maybe focus on the environment. How's the area around you looking? Has it changed? Have they added a new ramp, something like that? Or go swimming. All these different activities that don't involve the internet. But like you said, It's so deeply saturated in so many places that you can't go. I mean, unless you throw away your phone and stuff and not interact with anyone. But you can't go a whole day without being touched. This sounds weird, not touched by the internet. You can't go the whole day without having the internet somehow involved in your life.
100%.
And I feel like that's a very scary statement to say.
I'm gonna go back. I wish I could transport myself into the Friday the 13th video game.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That game was fun. But I wish that the 80s. That's all I can think about. Yeah. It's fucking awesome. I want to be there.
Yeah. And of course,
time machine.
That reminds me, I have to use the internet to talk to you and stuff like that. But damn well, I'd love to record the podcast in person. That'd be awesome.
100% it'd be yeah.
I feel like it'd be, even higher qualities and stuff to your interactions. But yeah, I do agree with you. That'd be a very big change. And then yeah, it'd be pretty scary. I don't know how it would look. Going back to the topics though, and yeah, 80s. Whew, 80s were fire. The fuego. Like how we're talking about, like we experienced it though. But
I know, right? I wish I could. I wish someone needs to come with a time machine, or virtual reality needs to get super ahead, and then it's kind of like the San Junipero. They're kind of in a virtual reality type place. But oh man, I wish we could virtual reality to any generation, and we could feel, touch, just be there. My PaaT idea. I don't know if I ever told you that. But
you've told me that.
Yeah.
But yes, I know what you're talking about.
That's all we need.
To dive into the topic a little bit more about generations, what do you think defines a generation? Maybe some music, or maybe a defining, event, like you were talking about 9/11 and stuff like that.
I think war and violence defines a generation.
Interesting. You want to go into that a little bit more?
Yeah, so I mean, Vietnam defined the 60s. Right. Vietnam sparked counterculture, protests, stuff like that. The 60s is kind of when you see the rise of super liberal ideas and people. That started with counterculture and the whole hippie thing. But the Vietnam defined the 60s. World War II, that defined the 40s, right? So that's just that's the biggest thing going on. War and violence define people. Right. That's going to define, if you win a war, if you lose a war, that defines where you're at, right? So Germany, World War II definitely defined Germany, right?
Right.
And that's
and they're still living with that today.
Yeah, they are. And so is Japan. They don't have an army.
Yes, they don't have an army.
Yeah, I think war and big kind of violent events, because I mean, 9/11 has sparked literally this whole, up until right now, well, it's still going on. It's defined this whole generation because everything changed. That's all I hear is how the world has changed.
Right, and especially like you were talking about the counterculture, moving forward with the Civil Rights Act and stuff like that. That was heavily defined by violence, and a lot of people brought violence into that. And then, like you said, of course, in 9/11 and all the violence that you see in the Middle East with us involved and other countries and stuff like that, right? It's just defining everything.
What do you? This is kind of an obvious answer, but what do you think is going to define this generation?
Oh, yeah, we already know the pandemic.
The pandemic, right? I think that's going to define them.
And of course,
so it's going to be. Is that going to make this generation more sheltered? And
right.
Well,
I think if you want to expand on that a little bit more after we get to the future about that stuff, but even when you think about the pandemic, that even in itself has some violence involved in it, right? You have people literally fighting over toilet paper. You have people yelling at each other and screaming at each other. You have also the civil rights movement that's happening again right now in the U.S. You have a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, diving into the future a little bit, I can see, like we already said with the internet, the world's connected but also disconnected. But with this, especially, I can see the world and people going even farther apart. Because so many people realize, I can't even imagine what it feels like for people to go through the entire pandemic without having someone to live with. You see what I mean? Because, I lived with my parents. You lived with your family.
Mm-hmm.
And, I knew a lot of people that lived with like a roommate or something like that that got stuck, right? But to think about the people that realized, hey, I can get through this on my own, more power to you. But it just goes to show you, you don't need that human interaction when you have the internet. You can be sheltered. And the people, introverts, shout out to you, they've thrived during this, right? And I think more people became even more in tune with their introvert self,
Right.
Because extroverts, the Instagram people, of course, they were still making their videos and their posts and all that shit. I sound like a boomer. But, they were still doing all that stuff. But I feel like it's kind of like the middle way people, people like with 10K followers that, weren't able to go to the lake or something like that. Like, I felt like they realized their extrovertness had to be restricted, for the overall good of the world. And so I feel like a lot of people were forced and to become more introverted, therefore moving forward. And especially we're still seeing the repercussions. I've told you this already about college. I only have 2 in-person classes this entire semester. Everything else is online. And even in that in-person classes, I've talked to my friend about this, we're going to be 6 feet apart. Everyone's going to be wearing a mask. And so you're basically have to yell at each other when talking about answers or something like that,
Right.
And who wants to talk? And who wants to talk to begin with in discussion? No one does. Besides the tryhard, right?
Right.
Like, I don't know if you can relate to this a little bit, but when you go into a discussion, the first 3 weeks, no one fucking talks. Yeah, you can find those little conversations here and there that are awkward, but no one talks.
Yeah, no one talks.
Like, moving forward, I feel like it's going to deeply define and even strengthen that our reliance on the internet is a lot more stronger and a lot more scarier than I think a lot of people realized. That is just what I think.
So bringing this segment to an end, I would like people to think about what generation they would like to be born in, wish they would have been born in.
Mm-hmm.
I would like for them to think of why. Put that down in the comment section or message us. Also, I would like to kind of put it out there that I think we are the lost generation. I think there's a lot going on, and I think a lot of the people, like me and you, are getting lost and kind of left behind. I think about it a lot. If anybody feels that way, we're here. You're not alone. So,
I would
go back to the 80s. You'll feel a lot better.
Yeah, true. No, I definitely resonate with that because, like I said, I've talked about it on the podcast before, but I had the worst 2 weeks of, mental health wise, and that was a really scary time. And I couldn't really seek a lot of help. Of course, I had people, awesome people to talk to, like you and other friends. But that just doesn't do it, right? You want to talk to someone in person, right? You want to feel and see that emotion, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying you didn't help, by the way. You helped a lot, Chief. I love it. But, it's just very, very hard sometimes on a lot of people. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. Real quick to wrap it up. Where do you see the future going in our generation? Do you feel like people are going to be introverted a little bit more, or anything you want to add on there?
I mean, my view is apocalyptic.
Oh yeah.
I don't foresee much of a future.
I mean, it's not a bad thing to just live in the moment, day by day.
I think,
there's no reason to look too far in advance because then you'll get sad.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into it because I could talk hours and hours about what I think, and I might sound a little bit crazy saying it, so it'd probably be better not.
Right. Well, it's understandable. But yeah, to wrap it up, we do have some quizzes.
Yes,
always do, right?
Fuck the deep question. The deep question is: look at your life and how sad you are.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Damn, that was
so. I am bringing up a quiz for you. I have 80s quizzes. Our both the favorite generations were 80s, but we wanted to do 2 different generations for quizzes. So you're gonna do 70s, correct, for me?
70s for you, yes.
Okay, and then I'm going to do 80s for him. So I'm going to go and start on the 80s quiz for him.
Okay.
Let's see. It's called the Retro Waste Trivia Game. So let's play it. Okay, first question. This space shuttle famously exploded on national television to the horror of an entire nation.
The Challenger.
Correct. I know that one off heart, so I'm going to have to get all the answers at the end. Anyway, in 1981, this company was asked to create an operating system for IBM computers.
Do I have options or do I?
Microsoft, Apple, Commodore, or Atari.
I'm gonna go with Commodore.
Okay.
Part of me wanted to say Microsoft, but
in 1980, this beetle was assassinated in New York City.
Shit! Hopefully, I was a bigger Beatle fan. Yeah, can I have the names, please?
Harrison, Starkey, McCartney, or Lennon?
Was it Starkey?
Okay.
I don't know. Who was it? I know you know, right?
Oh, it's Lennon. John Lennon.
Was Lennon?
Starkey's not even a Beatle.
Oh, damn. I got wrecked. Okay.
In what year did the U.S. hockey team beat the heavily favored Soviets at the Olympics?
Oh, this is a Miracle on Ice.
Yeah, Miracle on Ice.
Was it
80, 83, 87, or never?
Was it 83?
Okay, I'll put that down. 1987, this multi-talented singer turned actress won an Academy Award for Best Actress for her role in the movie Moonstruck. Was it Streisand, Cher, Bette Midler, or Dolly Parton?
Fucking Dolly Parton.
Okay.
She was a queen.
The name of the nuclear plant explosion in the Soviet Union that resulted in deaths of the estimated 7. Yeah, okay. Well, let me fucking finish, bitch.
Sorry.
I'm kidding. In 1988, Dustin Hoffman played a mentally disabled man named Raymond Babbitt in what film?
Rayman. Yeah?
Raymond. That's your answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just called Rayman, right?
It's called Rain Man.
Rain Man. Yeah, sorry.
Like the rain.
Yeah,
snow.
Okay. That was the guy that was they took him to poker, right? And he killed it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. This company launched the ever popular marketing campaign containing the slogan "Just Do It" in 1988.
Nike.
Okay. The Berlin Wall was torn down in what year?
What am
87, 89, 85, or 82?
87.
Okay. Starting in 1989, Energizer used this animal to sell batteries that were designed to last longer.
Bunny.
Okay. And your options are penguin, bunny, camel, or dolphin. So let's submit these answers.
Okay.
50%.
What? I got wrecked.
You missed the following questions. In 1981, this company was asked to create an operating system for IBM computers.
Was it?
Let's see. I gotta get the answers. Hold up.
No worse. Gosh. If it was Microsoft, I'm assuming.
Oh, shit. The answers to these questions can be found here. Hint, look under news headlines. Why can't it just tell me what the fucking... Okay.
What, Microsoft?
Okay. So let's see. In 1980 was the Soviets at the Olympics. John Lennon was the person assassinated. Microsoft was asked to create for the IBM computers. Chernobyl, you got that right. Cher was the one that won Best Actress. Challenger, you got that right. Nike, obviously.
Nike.
1989 was the Berlin Wall, not 87.
Oh, I knew it was an odd number. I knew it was a high odd number.
Yeah. So those.
Okay. All right. Are you ready for yours?
Yes.
Okay. Starting off right away. Which famous American comedian rose to fame on the popular 70s shows Mork and Mindy? This is for the 70s, by the way.
Can I get what are the
You
options?
can have Robin Williams, Aisha Tyler, Chris Rock, or Rodney Dangerfield.
70s. Let's go Dangerfield.
It was Robin Williams, actually.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, if I would have showed you the picture, you would have definitely guessed Robin Williams. because it looks just like him. But
yeah,
that later.
Probably a good thing I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's all good. Okay. Next one. Boom. After leaving the Beatles, John Lennon protested against Watergate, abortion, the Vietnam War, or adultery.
Vietnam.
All the above.
Okay.
You were correct. Vietnam. Lennon's criticism of the Vietnam War embodied in both public statements as well as his song lyrics coincided with his relocation to America. This resulted in an attempt by President Nixon to deport him. Interesting.
The bed piece.
Okay, which cult leader murdered 918 followers in 1978?
That's I know. It's Jim Jones.
Correct.
Yeah, I know a lot about death and cults. Very fascinating, especially the Jim Jones story.
I'm gonna pronounce his name wrong. Ayatollah, last name, was the ruler of Iran during the hostage crisis. Was it Khomeini, Salahuddin, Reza, or Singh?
Salahuddin.
Salahuddin. It was Khomeini.
I wanted to sound smart, like I actually knew what the answer was.
Yeah, the hostage crisis occurred between 1978 and 1981 while Khomeini...
That's I think that's what Argo, the movie Argo, based on, with Ben Affleck.
Oh, interesting. Okay, before becoming the U.S. president, Jimmy Carter was governor of Georgia, Indiana, Illinois, Nebraska.
Georgia.
Hell yeah, bruv. He's from Georgia. Yeah. I've actually been to his house.
I saw his name was when I went to Columbus, Georgia. He was all over. The Jimmy Carter was like everywhere. It's like, oh nice. Shit, okay. Yeah.
Which celebrity did the Symbionese Liberation Army brainwash?
Say it again. What?
Patty Hearst, Paris Hilton, Yoko Ono, or Rick James? Which celebrity did the Symbionese Liberation Army brainwash? I'm gonna copy paste this and put it in the chat for you to.
Okay. And what were the answers?
That was the thing. Patty Hearst, Paris Hilton, Yoko Ono, or Rick James? Which
let's go with Yoko Ono.
Okay. You were incorrect. It was Patty Hearst. She was abducted in Berkeley.
Symbionese Liberation Army. I've never heard of that.
I have no idea, man. In 1971, the U.S. voting age was lowered to 25, 20, 21, or 18.
18.
You'd be correct. It was originally 21. Okay. The 1972 Olympic crisis occurred in Accra, Santiago, Munich, or Sydney?
Say again. What was
the 1972 Olympics crisis occurred in Accra, Santiago, Munich, or Sydney?
It was Munich, I'm pretty sure.
You were correct. The Munich Massacre.
But if anybody's Symbionese Liberation Army is a left-wing terrorist organization.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I had to look it up.
This is when the Israeli Olympic team members were hostage and eventually killed.
I think most of them were killed, right?
Yeah, eventually killed them. I think he killed them all.
That's the famous picture where he has like the thing on his head, and he's like outside with like an Uzi or something like that on the balcony.
Yeah. And then that's when the Israeli secret force went ham and destroyed everyone. Yeah. After
didn't they go back like years later? They'd still come and find you and like kill you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They're huge. Then supposedly they went to the village of all the people that were there and they wiped everyone out because they didn't want to.
Yeah, I heard like even years later, it'd be like 10 years later, they would still come after people's asses and kill them because it's like that shit.
Well, yeah, you don't fuck with Israel.
Israel. Yeah.
After having World War II, they don't let anyone fuck with them. So okay. After leaving the Beatles in 1970, what band did Paul McCartney form? Leonard Skinner?
The Birds, or no, the Wings.
Yes. The Wings is one of the options, and you are correct. In 1978, gay rights activist Harvey Milk assumed public office in Chicago, San Francisco.
San Francisco.
You'd be correct. Nice.
I watched the movie on it.
Oh, really? Which Supreme Court decision legalized abortion? Kramer versus Kramer, Roe versus Wade, Loving versus Virginia, or Plessy versus Ferguson?
Kramer?
Don't say Plessy versus Ferguson. Kramer versus Kramer?
Yeah.
You are incorrect. It's Roe v. Wade.
Wow.
Yeah, Plessy versus Ferguson was the civil rights one, so I'm glad you didn't say.
Yeah, I know that one.
How did Nixon leave office after Watergate? He was impeached and convicted. He was assassinated.
He resigned.
He lost his bid for re-election, or he resigned.
He resigned before impeachment, I'm pretty sure.
You are correct. Bengali-born artist Ravi Shankar helped popularize which musical instrument in the West?
I think sitar.
Going with the sitar here. You'd be correct. Damn, you're popping off. The 1979 hostage crisis occurred in Iran, Palestine, Germany, or Iraq?
Iran?
You'd be correct. The anonymous source who broke the Watergate scandal was nicknamed Deep Throat, Savior.
Deep Throat? What?
Yeah, Deep Throat, Savior spelled Savior, or Savior spelled Saviour, or Whistleblower.
I don't even know. I'm just gonna say whistleblower.
You be incorrect.
Was it Savior? One of those?
It was Deep Throat.
Really?
In 1972, providing information to Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein of Washington Post was nicknamed Deep Throat.
Why?
I don't know, man.
Do they know what that means? Or?
Maybe not. The unsuccessful Equal Rights Amendment in the U.S. promoted equality for women, LGBTQ people, Muslims, or refugees.
Around that time, I'm gonna go with LGBTQ.
You'd be incorrect. It was women.
Really?
Yep. Okay, for most of the 70s, Canada's Prime Minister was Pierre Trudeau, Stephen Harper, Justin Trudeau, or Tony Benn.
First one.
Pierre, you're correct. Good job. Nice. Former Beatle George Harrison converted to Islam, Hinduism, Sikhism, or communism.
Give me the options again.
Islam, Hinduism, Sikhism, or communism.
Never heard of Sikhism, but I don't remember him being Hindu or Islam or communist. So I'm gonna say Sikhism.
Yeah, Sikhism. You being correct. It was Hinduism.
Really? Okay. Don't remember that.
Including conversion to vegetarianism. Yeah, Sikhism is a smaller kind of area area of belief in India. It's the second biggest belief under his Hinduism.
I thought he converted to Christian, honestly. I thought that's what it was going to be.
Upon his death, his ashes were scattered in India according to Hindu tradition.
Wow, okay.
Published in 1975, Against Our Will by Susan Bramiller sparked a movement to stop sexual violence, abortion, atheism, or war.
War.
You'd be incorrect. It was for sexual violence.
Oh, fuck.
It's all good. The capital of South Vietnam before the end of the Vietnam War was Saigon, Hanoi, My Lai, or Ankara.
Saigon, I think. It's Saigon or Hanoi. Yeah, okay.
You know, Hanoi is a city-state in Civ 5. Who wrote and performed the controversial song Sweet Home Alabama?
Leonard Skinner.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah.
There's a movie about their plane crash coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a good movie. Jimmy Carter was the last Democrat to become U.S. president without winning Indiana, California, Virginia, or Arizona.
I can't imagine California not voting Democrat. Indiana?
It'd be California.
Fuck off, dude. I didn't even think that was possible.
Billy Joel's first hit was Uptown Girl, Piano Man, Allentown, or Turnstiles.
Uptown Girl.
You'd be wrong. It was Piano Man.
It was Piano Man, really?
Piano Man was released on November 2nd, 1973, and peaked at number 25 in April 1974.
Yeah, I would never guess that. I thought it was one of his later hits.
70s activist Linda McCartney is famous for promoting communism, libertarianism, Islam, or vegetarianism.
Vegetarianism.
You'd be correct. All of these TV shows were produced during the 70s except The Jeffersons, MASH, Star Trek, and Columbo.
Columbo.
You were wrong. The original Star Trek was aired in 1966.
Wow, that's impressive.
I know. Really ahead of its time.
Yeah.
In 1972, this person became the first African American to run for president in a majority party primary. Major Owens, Coretta Scott King, Shirley Chisholm, or James Howard Meredith?
Meredith.
It was Shirley Chisholm. Alright, Star Wars hit theaters in 1973, 1977, 1979, or 1978.
77.
You said that was such. You're like, you were correct.
Okay.
Good stuff. What dictator took control of Chile in 1973? Antonio Salazar, Augustus Pinochet, Francisco Franco, or Porfirio Diaz?
Salazar.
You were incorrect. It was a Pinochet.
Salazar is such a cool name.
I know, it was pretty sick. The Winter of Discontent refers to a period of political turmoil in the UK, France, Canada, or Brazil?
Canada.
You'd be incorrect. It was in the UK.
Fuck, dude.
Now you're getting slapped. When did the oil crisis begin? 1973, 1971, 1975, 1972.
72.
You'd be incorrect. It was 1973.
God damn.
Yeah, that one was pretty rough. It's all good, though. The 70s marked a period of warmer relations between the U.S. and the Soviet Union known as Perestroika, Detente, Glasnost, or the Cultural Revolution.
First one.
Perestroika?
Yeah.
You'd be incorrect.
Dude, fuck. I don't know.
Detente.
How many goddamn questions are there?
There's 40.
Holy shit.
You're at 32. Tom Wolfe called the 1970s the blank decade. Polyester, Us, Me, or Disco?
Disco.
You'd be incorrect. It was the Me.
The Me generation?
Yeah. Jimmy Swaggart was a famous 70s TV evangelist from California, Louisiana, Mississippi, Virginia.
Mississippi.
Hell, nope. He's from Louisiana. You're close.
Damn. That's the same state.
Mississippi was chosen 34% of the time, so don't feel bad. Portugal's transition to democracy in 1974 was called the Blank Revolution. Superbach, Sagres, something with Fran, I can't pronounce that, or Carnation?
Carnation.
You'd be correct. Nice. Star Trek, the motion picture. The first Star Trek film was released in 1979, 1977, 1978, or 1970?
70.
1979.
They waited that long to make a fucking movie when they made a show in 66? Fuck off, Star Trek. It was not even good anyway.
Damn. Civil rights activist Benjamin Chavez, who gained fame in the early 1970s, was from which U.S. state? Alabama, North Carolina, Illinois, or California?
It's not North Carolina. Let's say California.
I would think you would know that. He was from North Carolina.
Are you kidding me? Never heard of that fucker.
Margaret Thatcher became the UK Prime Minister in 1970, 1978, 1979, or 1975.
79.
You were correct. Good stuff.
She was basically 80s. I don't remember her in 70s. So.
Yeah. When did Jimi Hendrix die? 1971, 1973, 1970, or 1979?
It was early 70s, 73.
You'd be incorrect. He died on 1970.
Really?
He died in London at the age of...
I think 60s. Fuck. Yeah, 27. He's in the 27 club, right?
Yep. Yeah. Chicago's Sears Tower was completed in 1972, 1975, 1971, or 1973.
These are stupid fucking questions. 73.
You got the Beatles one right. Hey, you got that one right. Nice.
Thank God.
Okay. Final question. Who was the president of France for most of the 1970s?
Oh, yeah, that was I don't fucking know.
Charles de Gaulle, Napoleon Bonaparte.
Yeah, Napoleon.
Jacques Chirac, or Valéry Giscard d'Estaing.
The first one.
Charles de Gaulle?
Yeah.
You'd be incorrect.
That'd be crazy. Oh, it's Napoleon. Fuck.
Oh my god, yo. This guy was a centrist French politician who was president of France from 1974 to 1981. He still serves on the Constitutional Council of France as of May 2017.
He must be doing something right.
Yeah, he must. Damn, he must know the formula, man. So your results.
I don't want to hear them.
Okay.
What are they?
You got an F.
Well, I'm used to
that. You almost got half right, though. That's pretty good. But no, I think you did pretty good. I think you would have survived probably a little bit better than I did in the good old 1970s. But I think that about wraps up for the podcast.
I think I wrapped up. That quiz went a little long, and I apologize.
I apologize for that also. I didn't realize there was 40 questions until I was 19 in. I was like, well then.
I gotta finish.
I know. I apologize. So, Chandler, anything you want to say to the people?
Like I said earlier, think about what generation you want to be on and why. Put that down in the comment section, or we have a Reddit or an Instagram. Do it on there. Also, episode 20 is going to be a little different. We have a few little things we're changing up, and we'll explain more on episode 20. So,
yes, we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot different format.
It'll be really big for people on YouTube if you want to start watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
Please subscribe.
And also, it's gonna be a little bit more controlled and planned. So I know we go off the bat a little bit, but we want to kind of switch it up to be a little bit more planned. So,
right, we're gonna try to figure out the algorithm.
Yeah,
we're breaking into the matrix. So, all right, I think that about wraps everything up. Thank you all for listening. Really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, give us a rating. Really do appreciate it. But have a great start to your week. Thank you for all the support. Peace and love, everybody.
And before we go out, I have this.
Fuck this pussy boy. Fuck it.
Oh my god.
Fuck it, right, boy. Keep it high and tight. I stole that from a different podcast.